bets for tomorrow's slate. Calabrese, where you going?
We talked about Baylor, Mississippi State on the preview show for the round of 64 and how both teams, I mean, Mississippi State was 2-5 down the stretch coming in. And Baylor's issue is that they're one of the worst teams in this field in terms of, when they have to play better competition, they just absolutely fold. So I wanted to wait and hope that they would make it through to play this Duke team. I think Duke's going to nuke them in this game, to be totally honest. I think their defense is going to be able to challenge what Baylor does best. They have much better depth, and they proved that with Flagg out for a stretch during the ACC tournament. And I also look at Norchad Omir because he's been playing really well, but he's been doing so while still racking up 4 and 5 fouls per game. In 9 of his last 12 games, he's had at least 4 fouls. And if he leaves the floor or if he fouls out early, they have to go to either a freshman big or Josh Ojan Owunu, who hasn't seen meaningful minutes for much of this season. So I think that's going to be the issue here, the front court depth for Baylor. And I think Duke, just stylistically, you look at their passion. I think they're trying to make a statement now and they're trying to build momentum. And I think 11.5 is just not going to cut it. I think they win this one by closer to 20.
By the way, if you wanted to follow along with our money line underdog picks, if you wanted to throw them in a parlay, I think it pays out close to 25 to 1. We'll drop a quick slip in the chat. And if you're watching, hit that subscribe and like button. Appreciate all of you. Greg, what are you looking at for Sunday?
I'm going to jump on Ole Miss plus 5.5 against Iowa State for a few similar reasons to why I like Bama as a fade here. This is not a healthy Iowa State team. Keyshawn Gilbert, without him, they're just not the team everybody wanted them to be at the beginning of the season. And I think that is still kind of overinflating them in the market and in everybody's belief systems and brackets. Like, we all wanted Iowa State to be really good and healthy and bring all these pieces back and basically be Houston. They weren't, they aren't. And I think we need to be honest about that here. Going back to January 16th, the Cyclones team has 2 wins against NCAA tournament teams in the field. One of them is the Lipscomb team they just beat in round 1. They've played a bunch of these games. They haven't beaten anybody since the injury problems have just derailed this entire season. I think that matters here. And I liked what I saw from Ole Miss in the first half against North Carolina. Now, obviously, they melted down late. Carolina had a chance to steal that game. But I think profile-wise here, Ole Miss never turns it over. Third nationally. They're not going to struggle with Iowa State's physical pressure, forcing turnover defense. And just to throw this out there, Otz is a great coach. I like him. In the NCAA tournament, some of his losses have come in games they're supposed to win. He lost to an 11 seed, lost to a 10 seed. Last year, they lost to Illinois, who was the 3 seed when Iowa State was the 2. Chris Beard, he's been pretty good as an underdog in this tournament. He has 5 wins outright as a sizable seed line underdog in his NCAA tournament career. I will back Beard, who I think is the better postseason coach with the healthier team in a matchup I really like.
Looking forward to that one. A lot of great games this weekend. For Sunday, don't love anything. I haven't dove all the way in yet to all the games. I will say I'm going to go with St. Mary's. Talked about that game earlier. I think they can just slow it down, keep Bam out of transition, limit their 3-point attempts, and then live on the offensive glass, which is what they ultimately want to do. I also will say I think Kentucky might be in trouble unless Illinois just shoots 18% from 3, which is probably likely for Illinois after they shot 40% from 3. But Kentucky's pick and roll defense is very suspect. That's troubling against Illinois. But if Illinois is missing a ton of shots, chucking them up, then Kentucky can get out in transition. So if Illinois is on or just hits 33% from 3, which is when they're basically unstoppable. If they hit 40% again, I think it's a runaway. But that's a fascinating game. That should be an entertaining game. What's that total at now? Does anyone have their odds stream out? Where did I see it at? I swear I saw a 171, I think. So that should tell you all you need to know about that one.
170 right now out in the market. I think that's going to steam up, so you might want to grab that now.
Yeah, well, concerns about shooting, maybe not, but that should just be lots of fireworks throughout.